good morning, and great morning, guys. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Exit Strategies Radio Show. Hey, I'm your host, Corwyn J. Millett, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the show, guys, you are in for a treat because our mission here is very simple. Now, before I go too far, I'm going to tell you we're going to deviate just a smidgen today, but our mission here is very simple. That is to empower our community through financial literacy and real estate education. That's what we do. So, guys, today we're going to take a slightly different path, but I want to give a quick shout out to those who tune in locally, who listen to us, quote unquote, from one end to the other. You know, I always call out Monkey's Corner. My mama live out there, and y'all know that, and I love her. And then all the way down to Hollywood, what you know, no good, guys. You guys tune in faithfully, and I want to say thank you for being a part of our family here at WJNI. So I told you we're going to deviate a little bit today. It has been plaguing me to give us a little bit more within the community. So, guys, there are organizations doing amazing things in and around the Charleston region. They are making a difference in people's lives, but not all people know about them. So, today, I was very fortunate to be able to go and grab hold to somebody who is just that. It's quote unquote like having a secret, right? At times, there are things going on around you, access to information, assistance, or otherwise that you just haven't tapped into because you didn't know about it. And it's quote unquote like the best secret ever. Well, today, we got one of them best secrets ever. So I want to take a moment and introduce to you all, our loyal listeners, Rob Williams with Bold Age Pace, North Charleston. Rob, how you doing this morning?
Doing awesome, Corey. And it's great to be here on this gratitude, grateful Thanksgiving week.
Awesome. Rob, if you don't mind, tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Rob, as you stated, Executive Director for Bold Age PACE. PACE is an acronym for Programs of All Inclusive Care for the Elderly, and that's exactly what we do as an organization. So PACE is a Medicare program that is offered as a Medicaid program in certain states, and it gives a holistic, when I say holistic, not just with the H, but holistic with a W approach to healthcare to seniors that we're honored to serve. We take care of their social needs, their medical needs, their behavioral needs, emotional needs. We have a interdisciplinary team that looks at the entire individual and take their priorities into what we do to provide care for them.
So, for our listeners, now, my disclaimer, y'all. I'm a little connected over there. That's my disclaimer. So I'm gonna put that out there for y'all. So y'all ain't like, well, look, what Corwin selling? No, we ain't selling nothing, but we informing. But you guys have this very unique approach to, as you may mention, of about how you care for someone. So let me back up a little bit for our listeners, guys. If you have an elderly family member, maybe it's your parent, grandparent, or someone, and you see them at home and they're on Medicare, Medicaid, guys, I need you to tune in. I need you to really listen and get this information today so you can make sure that you get in contact to see if this is a resource that will benefit them. Okay. Now, Rob, you may mention again the holistic, not just the H, but the W, the whole person. You know, I love that. A whole person thing. I get that. So, what is kind of the first thing that you guys do? Like, let's say someone is interested in learning more about your program, and we got to get on that side again about what all you guys do. But what's the first thing that you guys do with someone who's interested in learning more about the program?
So the first thing we do is we make contact with them to make sure they meet the criteria. So as you mentioned, seniors, so they have to be 55 years or older to be in the program, and we ensure that they live within our service area, which is most of the zip codes within the Dorchester, Charleston, Berkeley County areas. And then we meet with those individuals and determine what desires or what are the things that they're looking for a health program. What are their priorities? What are their values? What things that or that they find as barriers to getting the health care that they so greatly need within the society? And then we make a determination whether or not they meet the third criteria, which is having a reduction in activities of daily living that would, in essence, have them qualified to be in a skilled nursing facility, but they have a desire to age in place at home, and we have a desire to help them age in place at home. And once they hit those thresholds and that information, and then we meet with them, get more information, get them to sign consent forms so that we can check the financial eligibility. That's important because for those that are on Medicaid, at that point, if they have a certain waiver of Medicaid, then there's no out-of-pocket cost for them to be a part of the program. And then they receive all of the Medicaid and Medicare services that they are entitled to receive, plus services. And so those that are dual eligible, then we check that as well. But then we provide them information because not only do we provide home health services and things, we actually provide comprehensive services. So we provide transportation to them. So we let them know that this could be removing the barriers to getting to your specialty appointments. We provide social work services for counseling, behavioral health services. We have a primary care provider that's here at our adult social center that's here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, that they have access to. It's our goal to keep them out of the emergency room, keep them out of the hospital, keep them out of that nursing home. We have registered dietitians to help them with their dietary needs. We even have a recreational therapist to help them with those social needs that they need. Like I mentioned, that transportation manager, we have home health aides, we have a home health coordinator that works with them, and registered nurses that assign to a subset. We keep our case mix low in regards to, let's say, one nurse to say 35, 40 participants so that they
Mhm.
get to know them. And so we explain all of that information to them and then determine whether or not there's something they want to get more information about. And then we bring them to our beautiful center and give them a tour and show them the nice facilities here at 2801 Ashley Phosphate Road.
Rob, so one of the things I just heard is that underlie, and for our listeners, guys, oftentimes this whole concept means a lot to us around this word, which is dignity. One of the things that I see within our community, whereas people age, they want to stay at home. And there's a matter of pride and dignity in that, where they don't lose control, where they got to be placed in some facility. And within our community, obviously, we're very apprehensive to that. We don't want to put mom in a home, but mama or daddy, whoever it is, they need services, they need care. And sometimes we're just not equipped, and to be able to give them a better quality of life, then so empowers them, because that's what our show is about, empowerment, but empowers them to do better, to have a better quality of life, and therefore enjoy a more fruitful life even in the latter years. So I love that. That's what you guys do. You guys really embrace and work with families, with individuals, to empower them to be able to maintain their dignity by aging in, if you will, and forgive the pun, but at their own pace. I love it.
At their own pace, giving them the independence they want and the care they need while they age gracefully, like you said,
Love
at
it.
their own pace.
I love it.
And,
I love it.
and
So you guys have, this is Pace is fairly new to this region, right?
correct.
Okay. But you guys as an organization have been around for forever, for a long time. So if you don't mind, give us a little bit of history, the roots, where the program originated, and then let's also touch on the impact. Because I've sat through you guys' grand opening and heard some of the stories, and man, look here, man, you literally need tissue and be prepared to be snot crying as
Mhm.
far as what you guys do for people. So if you don't mind, Rob, give us some insight and share on that.
Sure. So PACE, the program, started in the 70s as a concept in the Asian community. Just like you stated, in our culture, we really don't want to put our loved ones in a nursing home facility. And the Asian community has that strong cultural value as well. And so in the 70s in San Francisco, California, there was a, I could say, experiment or pilot with the Asian community and the government to see how can we serve this community in the community and still reduce the cost of care and provide quality care. It was very successful. It expanded to other areas. And then in the 90s, I think it was 98 Balanced Budget Act, Congress codified that PACE programs would now be an official Medicare program. And since that time, Corwyn, it has expanded like wildfire. PACE right now is, I would say, is where hospice was maybe 20 years ago, but it's still continuously growing. Right now, PACE is only in 33 states and the District of Columbia. There's about 172, matter of fact, 177 as of August, PACE organizations with about 352 PACE centers. Here in South Carolina, we have our center here, that's Bold Age Center in North Charleston. However, South Carolina has 3 other PACE programs that cover a few of the counties. So it's not even the entire South Carolina that is covered by this wonderful program.
So there's gaps within our state.
Significant gaps within our state. And so there's a program that covers Orangeburg County, Calhoun County, Bamberg County. There's a program that covers Richland and Lexington County, and then Pickens, Greenville, and Anderson County. That's it. And so everything else is a gap. I would love to sign my parents up as an example in the PACE program. They really need the services, but they're in Marlboro County. And notice I didn't mention Marlboro County as having a PACE program. And so that's some more disparities in those rural areas that unfortunately have yet to be broken and tapped into.
That's interesting. So what that demonstrates to me, first of all, we know there's a need. So then what that also demonstrates to me by the lack of is that there is an opportunity too. So as the program expands, and for our listeners, guys, look, let's be real. We are distrustful. Okay, let's be real. We're distrustful of these things, of programs, of this kind of stuff, because we don't want to mess around and do the wrong thing. But this is the right thing for many people. Rob, let me ask this question. An example of when you've encountered someone who essentially is just distrustful, or otherwise they don't have the understanding or haven't grasped the concept and are hesitant and or resistant. How do you overcome that? And what would you say to someone in that particular situation or scenario?
And Corwyn, that's very common, as you know. One of the things, and unfortunately, because of the way people have taken advantage of our seniors in the community through scams, it creates a lot of distrust on top of the distrust that a lot of our population have in regards to healthcare. And so when we start talking about the program to them, because I actually did a lot of the marketing myself with them, you'll hear a lot of it's too good to be true. It can't be true. And what you do with those individuals, we find testimonials. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we invite them to the center. We want to get them into this center so that we can give them a tour and show them that there is a tangible place. I do have a doctor that's right here that can be available for you. If you come to this center, this doctor is right here. You'll see them every day. Show them the social work, our dietitian, have that transportation vehicle drive around so that they can see that transportation. Even in that enrollment process, we can pick them up, bring them to the center. They don't have to drive to the center or catch a ride to the center. Those are some of the strategies we use to get past some of that distrust. And then we ask questions as well. Why is it difficult for you to get to your appointments? Would it be best for you if you had help getting to your appointment? Type things. And so I found in my experience, Corwyn, I've been with PACE, doing PACE for a little over 3 years, about 3.5 years or so. And in my experience, when persons get in and they find out everything that we do, their mental barriers begin to break down. As we break down the barriers of getting them access to care, they break down their barriers into resistance to receiving that care. Now, I've seen caregivers, because not only are we here to support the participant, which we call them participants in our program, I very rarely see a participant or a senior say, I want to go to a nursing home or I want to go to assisted living. It's usually that burning out caregiver that has no other place to go. They have to work, but they cannot. They work hard to take care of their senior, but they can't do it anymore. So then they have to place them. And so what we do is we go in and support that caregiver by supporting that participant. And in my experience, I've seen where these caregivers are emotionally truly brought to literal tears, understanding the help that they'll now be able to receive from a program like this. And I'm ecstatic to bring this to the North Charleston area.
There is I forgot, then I know you caregivers go through this. I don't necessarily want to call it remorse, but essentially they go through this emotional turmoil, if you will, and oftentimes are defeated at times in this process. I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, listeners, let's be real, okay? And some of you have already been through this, some of you are in the middle of this, some of this you may still yet to have to experience, if you will. But for lack of a better way to put it, it's inevitable. We all got to leave here. So oftentimes when you get into this process where you're dealing with the care of, again, parent, grandparent, whoever it is, often that is the beginning of a decline. And the rate of the decline is oftentimes dependent upon that individual's quality of life. Okay. So a program like PACE, guys, is able to balance that out a little bit where that rate of decline is not so steep that, it seemed today they were sick or today they whatever happened that changed everything. And then it's just like a roller coaster down. Oftentimes that emotional turmoil, that witnessing that just tears people apart. So I can imagine how they may feel when you guys come in and say, hey, this is available. Hey, we can do this. Hey, we can take them to the doctor's appointment, the one that you've been worried about, try you going to get them to every month or every whatever time period. So that's impressive. So you guys, again, have everything in house. You have physical therapy, right? So let's
Yeah.
talk about some of the components that you guys have inside. Which one is your, like, okay, look, when somebody does this, their whole life changes? What's that for you?
So I'll go through that disciplines that you mentioned initially, and then I hit that piece on it. And
Ooh,
so, like I mentioned before, we had that primary care provider, we have the RNs, we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, registered dietitian, reg therapist, transportation manager. We have that home care coordinator. We have CNAs, PCAs as well on that team. And then we have a center manager, and that team creates plan of care, individualized plan of care for each of the participants. I think the biggest thing that what I've seen that we do to make the most positive impact, and you mentioned this as well, is getting them to the doctor's appointment that they can't get to. As I mentioned earlier, is breaking down those disparities. You can put doctor's offices all in the neighborhood, but if you can't get to it, it's not going to do me any good. The other
mhm,
thing about that is we also become their insurance plan. And so they don't lose their Medicaid or Medicare, but we become that insurance plan that also breaks down some of the authorization barriers, because as long as that IDT team sees that need for that individual and authorize that need, we help them get it scheduled within our network, take them to the appointment, and best of all, Corin, our primary care provider then collaborates with that specialist to determine the best course of care for that particular individual. Unlike your primary care provider in the community saying, go see that cardiologist or go see that neurologist, and then you wait 6 months to go to your follow up primary care provider appointment for them to ask, what did they tell you at the cardiology visit? That's not how PACE operates. That our clinic speaks directly and gets the notes directly from that visit and then provide information to that participant at that time. But what I was going with is that transportation piece, because a lot of the areas that we serve, yes, Charleston has the port city, it's the holy city, and has that metro portion. But like I know, Corey, there's a lot of rural areas within
yeah.
Dorchester, Berkeley, and Charleston County. And that barrier of transportation is just heavy, because also what we also provide along with that transportation is we are able to send mom's meals or meals to the house, because a lot of times in those rural areas, not only transportation is a barrier, but also it's a food desert. And
Mm,
so nutrition is important to health as well. And so
mm,
we're able to provide those meals to those individuals and get them to the appointment. And the other portion about being that health provider and that health insurance is we're looking for quality care. One of the things that you don't receive well outside of a PACE when it comes to healthcare is that, especially in that population, is dental. But one of the
mm.
things that we're able to do is we're able to make sure that they get their annual or their semi-annual dental appointments and have a treatment plan for them to help make sure that they stay healthy. Matter of fact, Corin, we have a specialist room right here on site where dentists, we have a contract with a dental service that could come on site to provide those dental services. And so we bring the dentist here and then bring the participants here to be able to provide that service.
So you guys, again, this is something that you said, I repeated, I'm gonna repeat again. Holistic, not just the H, but the W. So
Correct.
you guys literally, y'all got that W down, man,
Mhm.
because you literally are bringing people to essentially and created a one-stop shop to where you can service the people. It's almost like, matter of fact, and I envisioned this just now when I said that. It's almost like the service center. It used to be back in the day when you went to get gas, you pulled in and they checked your oil, they checked the transmission fluid, they
Clean your
filled it up,
windshield.
clean your windshield. They did everything, and you ain't have to move. You pulled in, and everybody converged on you. Check your tire pressure, everything. And you don't see a service center like that anymore. Historically, I bumped into one down in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, at one time, and I was surprised. I pulled up, and the guy came out and pumped the gas. I'm like, "What,
What?
man? Go ahead." So you guys have this thing down. So that is like amazing, like awesome. that you guys bring the participant and the person comes in and it's almost like a pit crew that converges on them.
Exactly like that.
Everything. That is awesome. Rob, let's touch into obviously quality of life is what kind of drives this and what makes this program not only unique, but also needed. There's a need for this. Your ideal participant, obviously, rural areas are completely underserved, but your ideal participant or the person that really needs to reach out, really needs to call you guys is who?
It would be the individuals that are struggling to meet their own individual needs, their activities that they would live in. They may need assistance with dressing, bathing, transferring, toileting, eating, any of those things. And then also, again, being 55 years or older, and understand that they may or may not have a current primary care provider, and they may or may not have the ability to get to that appointment, but ideally they would have a family or caregiver support system that's working with them, and then we can come in and be that, I would say, the third point of the triangle as it relates to caring for that particular individual. That would be an ideal individual. But the one we really want to, at Bold Age Pace, we put people first. That's
Mm.
one of our values. We have our values. People first, the first one. Like, they exceed expectations. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to seek to understand, and so we're gonna do all of those things. And oh, can't forget, be bold age. Right? Can't forget, be bold. We're gonna do those things, and by doing that, we lean even beyond that ideal participant in the program. We want to lean to the ones that really don't have access, that really don't have anyone else out there, that really and truly need some wraparound service to connect with them, to be that social person, to be that care provider, to help them navigate this medical world. That is truly where what gets me to wake up and make that drive into every morning, knowing that there's somebody out there that can benefit, that needs the touch of the services that PACE provides. That's who we're looking for as well.
You made mention of it. Well, I say mention of it, but where I'm going with this is you made mention that your parents, you would love for them to, this would be ideal for them. And my imagination, as well as my information, I know that when my wife works with you guys, and in turn, that's one of the things that she has spoken about when she found out about you guys, that if we had known about you, if you will, some months prior, would have been ideal because her mother was an ideal candidate, was the person that would have benefited, could have benefited from the PACE program. So for our listeners, guys, I want you to, one, I need you to categorize this in, hey, I need to talk to somebody category, meaning you need to talk to your family. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're listening. And maybe it's you who is really struggling with taking care of yourself, living on your own, being independent, and you think that maybe this is a good fit or something you should at least explore. Have that conversation with your family. Now, Rob, let's get out. Where can people get in contact with you?
As I stated earlier, we're located here in North Charleston on Ashley Phosphate Road, which is 2801 Ashley Phosphate Road. You can call the center here. Our number is 854-768-0800. Again, that's 854-768-0800. We also have a call center that listeners could call, which is 855-801-BOLD, and BOLD is 2653. And so there's that bold again, 855-801-BOLD, which is 2653. And one of our navigators at the call center will provide information and connect them with our ambassadors here on site. We'll be happy to provide tours, provide information for anyone to the program to get this information out. And Corwyn, as you spoke just now about caring for our loved ones, a lot of us right now, we're in that sandwich generation. I'm the caregiver for my parents, and I also have grandkids and stuff. Thank God my youngest kid is 21, but I still have grandkids that I'm helping my children take care of. And sandwiched in between that is trying to take care of my mom and dad, who
Mm.
have both have serious health problems. And that's why I really would love, I travel 2 hours to go take care of them. Having a PACE program where the PACE could go send an escort to the appointments and be their eyes and ears, and I wouldn't have to drive up and down the road to take care of that. And so some of the people in our program actually have loved ones that's out of state. And so we're able to be their eyes and ears while they're out of state. So I would encourage any of your listeners to reach out. It may sound too good to be true, but I promise you, I'm touchable. We're real.
I love that. So while you were just saying that, I literally just envisioned that, and thank you for it, because you actually took me in the direction that I was thinking that, oh, maybe we need to go, because I didn't even think about it. I didn't even factor that in. Maybe somebody's listening to this show, or maybe they're passing through, whatever it is, and they have a relative in this area or close to another bold age PACE center around the country, and they could get them connected and essentially gain one. Man, look here, peace of mind is worth a whole lot. I watched my wife for years, literally, when the phone rang and there was somebody calling from our home area, literally would tense up, because you don't know what's on the other end of that call, whether it's somebody calling just for ha's and he's, or somebody calling because, hey, your mom on the floor
Sure.
or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And what do you do with that? I mean, that's not, nobody wants to live that way, on edge, always anxious, experiencing high levels of anxiety related to that. You guys provide people peace of mind. Is that a fair assessment?
Right. Trying to provide that peace of mind so they know that they have a contact. Because not only do we have that nurse that I say they're assigned to them, we also have that social work assigned to them as well. That can be that communication conduit back and forth. So I can imagine how your wife felt, because like me, she's from the PD region of the state of South Carolina. And so getting that call from the PD region, you never know which direction that call is going to go in. Again, having the resources of PACE to be there. Again, I call it the triangle. You have the participant, you
Mm-hmm.
have the IDT team, and then you have the caregiver. So it's that triangle that works together to take care of the individual.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, for our listeners, guys, today's show is about community. It's about all of us, right? What do we do for one another? I'm a big fan of, believer of, we were put here not for service to ourselves, but for service to other. God employed us. He has given us charge to serve his people. And who among us is any greater than those who are older than us, who have taught us the way? Why would we not want to serve them, to help them, to make sure that their latter years, quote unquote, are still good? Our latter can always be greater than. That's when we're supposed to have a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of peace. But in all actuality, most of us give, as you made mention of, Rob, that sandwich generation. So you're being pulled from both directions and you're depleted in the end. And by the time you get to the side where you're the bread, because the meat, matter of fact, is where it's thick at.
Right.
By the time you get to the other side, you just a thin piece of bread. Then you're lucky if you ain't a doggone pita chip or something when you get over there,
Yep.
frail and brittle.
Preach.
But but the reality is that at that point in time, guys, that's when you need to be shored up. That's when you need the help. So again, maybe it's you, maybe it's somebody that you know, maybe it's one of your neighbors, guys. Go over and tell them about this show. Tell them to go listen. Guys, this will be on our website. We will get it on our podcast platforms and application as well. But this is us. This is home. This is community. This is what we do to empower and assist each other right where we are. Right where we are. So, guys, I want you to connect. I want you to reach out to Bold Age PACE. I want you to give Rob a holler. And I want you to know that he is there to help you, to assist you, to serve you, and make your quality of life greater, better than what it is today. So, Rob, I want to thank you for what you do, man, because every time I pass by or every time I stop by, man, you like, I can't even describe, you like Sonic the Hedgehog. You just gone.
Got to keep it moving.
Got to keep it moving, making sure that everything is moving around that building, around that operation, around that center as a well-oiled machine. So, man, kudos to you for what it is you do. And most importantly, thank you for having the servant's heart, man, to really make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Corwyn, for allowing me to be on the show to provide some information. It's great information to your listeners. And again, reach out to me at 854-768-0800. If you want to, you can just ask to speak to Rob. I love to talk about the program. I have a passion for this. And if it's something that we can help you with, just let me know. If you want me to come speak at a church, Senior Center, anything, just let me know. Myself and my ambassadors will be there. And Corwyn, it has been a pleasure to be on this show with you, my brother. And thank you for the work that you're doing in empowering our community.
I appreciate that. Now, if you don't mind, one more time, where can people find y'all at? So look here, give them that address. Maybe they just want to roll up because you know how we get.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to put my eyes on this thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So where can people check you guys out at?
2801 Ashley Phosphate Road. We are right across from the original Chill and Grill, right here, Ashley Phosphate Road. You could also find us at boldagepace.com. And again, that number 854-768-0800, 855-801-BOLD, which is 2653. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn.
I love it. I love it. What I just heard you say is, look here, if y'all come on through just to check us out, you can get on across the street and get you some wings.
Get some wings. That's right. Get you some wings. That Jamaican jerk wings.
I know that's right. Well, look here, Rob. I want to thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart, man, for being on the show with us. I want to thank you again for what it is you're doing, because it is so profound, man. It is really making a difference and empowering people. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity here on this show to really showcase that and highlight that to this generation, to the generation who is, quote unquote, they believe that their days ahead are less than their days behind. And that means a lot to me personally. And I know it means a lot to the people that are listening to our show. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So guys, look, you know where we at with it. You know how I feel about it. So I'm gonna give it all to you like I normally do, which is to tell you, guys, I thank you for tuning in. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we're going to see you guys out there in those streets.